happened, as Erica said, in January of 2008. Why did it take so long to have these officers fired?
Well, I didn't know about it as mayor until Thursday of last week. When it was brought to our attention what had happened, apparently those tapes had been floating around, but this particular tape you showed was used in the trial of the guy, but apparently they didn't show the last part of it. So we found out about it Thursday of last week.
Mayor, I must interrupt you. That camera, that is from a police cruiser.
That's exactly right.
So how in the world can video from a police cruiser, you never see it? Chief of police, did he see it? Did any other cop see it? How is it floating around when it's coming from a police officer's car?
Okay, let me answer your question this way. I was elected in November of last year. I took office late November. Had been in office about a month. The new police chief we have now didn't come on until a month after I took office. So neither one of us saw it. It was under the previous administration.
Sir, even though it was under the previous administration, though, there are reports that several police officers and even perhaps as many as half a dozen supervisors may have seen this tape. I understand that there can be this unwritten code where you protect your brother, but the fact that this tape could have been floating around and no one brought it to the chief of police attention, is that concerning to you at all in terms of those folks who are still on the force?
Right. Those individuals who did not come forward, who knew that the tape was out there, the police department right now is going back to ascertain how many people knew about this, and they will be dealt with appropriately.
Mayor Langford, will there be an investigation into the actions by these police officers with an eye towards possible criminal prosecution?
Well, my understanding after the tape came out today that investigative agencies are already on top of it to look at it, yes.
And Mayor, there's also a long history of police brutality in Birmingham. I wonder if you think the entire police department needs an overhaul.
Well, let me say this to you. You know, I grew up in Birmingham during a time when police brutality was rampant. And this city has come a long, long way. And this city didn't just come a long, long way because of black folks. Blacks and whites worked together to change the mindset and mentality of the city. We still have some vestiges of that around. But in this particular case, I was called today and the guy said, well, was this a racial case? Well, if you look at that tape, the very first person who approached this guy and beat him was black.
Yeah.
So, you know, this wasn't a racial matter. It was just police brutality.
So it wasn't black or white, it was blue.
Yeah, they just crossed the line. They absolutely crossed the line.
But does this tape and the way the tape was treated for all these months and months suggest to you that maybe Birmingham hasn't made as much progress as you're saying it's made?
Well, let me say this to you. You know, there is this unwritten code, as you know, within these departments. But the fact of the matter is, yes, this department has made tremendous strides, but you're dealing with human beings who, in many cases, try to protect one another. The fact of the matter is, they shouldn't have tried it in this particular case. You have a new mayor and a new police chief, both who grew up during the 60s, were in some cases victims of police brutality. We won't tolerate it, and everyone responsible for covering it up will, in all probability, need a job.
Mayor, have we heard at all from the previous mayor, from the previous police chief? Have they owned up to their responsibility here as well?
No, in this particular case, I got the whole deal on Thursday. Today, the tapes were released, and so the police department is conducting a full investigation to ascertain who knew what, when, and why it's just now surfacing as of Thursday of last week.
Mayor, is there any defense being offered by these officers in defense of their behavior, such as that it was a 100-mile-per-hour chase, went on for 22 minutes, that they thought perhaps that the suspect was a danger?
Let me be very candid with you. That tape runs almost 30 minutes. They led the police on a 20, 30, 40-mile chase. Now, if you watch the whole tape, and I want to be real honest with you, okay? Excuse me, when I saw the first part of the tape, I was saying, why on earth is he being allowed to travel 100 miles an hour, endangering that many people? I thought he should have been stopped way before then. And so, in my own mind, not having seen the last 11 seconds, I was thinking, boy, something ought to happen to this guy. Until I got to the last 11 seconds of the tape. The man was ejected from the car. He was totally unconscious. At that point, it should have stopped right then.
Gotcha.
And so, guys, let me tell you something. You know, I grew up in the city. We had a police car in the city, car 13. Had a black cat on the back.
About 15 seconds, Mayor.
And this guy would terrify the community. But our police department is not that department today. These guys crossed the line, and unfortunately, I'm here on CNN trying to defend the city who has really matured and grown because some officers crossed the line.
Well, Mayor, we certainly be watching this case, see what happens next, and certainly we welcome you to come back to keep us informed of the next steps. Mayor Larry Langford of Birmingham, Alabama.